It's funny when you think about it. Humans have always been trying to sort of outsource their thinking, haven't they? Using tools to remember things, to figure stuff out. Oh, absolutely. It's not new at all. Yeah. Think about simple things like calendars, notebooks. Even basic knots in a string. Right. Stone tablets, abacuses, smartphones. It's a long history. We've always wanted to offload that mental work. Exactly. It's about extending our own biological limits, you know? Yeah. Our brains can only hold and process so much. These tools help bridge that gap. And that's a perfect lead into our deep dive today because we're looking at how AI, artificial intelligence, might be, well, maybe more than just the next step. A potential leap, perhaps. Yeah, leap. Especially for people who might be dealing with cognitive challenges, things like, age-related memory stuff, general absent-mindedness, or even more serious conditions like Alzheimer's. So our mission here is to explore how AI could be a really powerful kind of cognitive support, how it might actually help people function better day to day. It's such an important area. And, the way we usually test AI, these standard benchmarks, they often completely miss the mark here. How so? Well, they don't really look at how people use AI in the real world, especially not for something as nuanced as cognitive support. It's not just about getting the right answer on a test. Okay, so AI is more than just a clever calculator or a search engine. How does it become this next-level cognitive offloading tool? What makes it different? Well, the big difference, I think, is that AI can actually help with the thinking itself, not just storing facts or doing math. Okay, it can help you brainstorm, kick around ideas, even help you test out hypotheses. It's more interactive, more dynamic than, say, a notebook. So less like a tool and more like a thinking partner. Exactly. That's a great way to put it. A partner. That makes sense. And I guess the way we interact with it, that chat interface, that's pretty central to this. That back and forth conversation, absolutely crucial. That persistent chat log provide an amazing relief for your working memory. How does that work? Well, think about it. You don't have to constantly juggle all the details of a complex problem or conversation in your head. You can just scroll back up, see what was discussed. Right, it's all there. Exactly. And for someone maybe struggling with memory, that ability to just refer back, it's huge. It's like having this external buffer for your short-term memory always available, like a safety net for your thoughts. Okay, now you mentioned a term earlier, search heuristic amplification. Sounds complex. It does sound a bit technical, yeah. But the idea is actually pretty cool. Break it down for us. Okay, so even if the AI doesn't give you the perfect answer straight away. The process of talking to it can actually sharpen your own thinking. It acts like a sounding board. How? It throws ideas out there. Even if an idea is slightly off, it makes you think. You evaluate it, you refine your own approach. It can nudge you towards a better solution. Ah, I see. So it's the interaction itself that's valuable, not just the final output. Precisely. It's like mental sparring. Even a slightly wrong suggestion from the AI can help you clarify your own path, especially if you're feeling a bit foggy or stuck. That's really interesting. So the AI doesn't have to be perfect to be helpful in clarifying our own thoughts. Now, you also use this analogy, navigating a high-dimensional hypothesis space. Right, yeah. Okay, picture trying to solve a really complex problem. There are tons of possible solutions, right? Different paths you could take. Sure, like a maze. Exactly. A huge, complicated maze. That's your hypothesis space. Now, on your own, you might wander down lots of dead ends. Big lost, waste time. Totally. But AI can act sort of like a guide in that maze. It can look at the map, see patterns, and suggest more promising routes. So it helps you avoid the dead ends. It can certainly help short-circuit those unproductive detours, yeah. Highlight relevant data points you might have missed. For someone maybe dealing with cognitive decline, that directness, that ability to cut through the clutter, that can be incredibly valuable, less overwhelming, like having a navigator for your thoughts through that complex maze. Okay, let's dig into the math a bit. You mentioned gradient descent and the brain minimizing future surprise. How does AI fit in there? Okay, so think of gradient descent as a way algorithms find the best solution, like finding the lowest point in a valley by always heading downhill. Right. Our brains kind of do something similar. We're constantly trying to build a model of the world that predicts what happens next, minimizing surprise. We want things to make sense. Okay, building that coherent world model. Yeah. And AI can assist with that. Yeah. Not just by giving us information, but also by helping us rule out bad ideas. Ah, so it's not just finding the right path, but also marking the wrong ones. Exactly. Knowing what doesn't work is just as important as knowing what does. It helps filter the noise. For someone experiencing confusion, maybe, AI can help efficiently prune away the unlikely or incorrect options. And it can handle really complex spaces, you said, these high-dimensional ones. Yes, spaces that are just too vast, too complex for us to really explore effectively on our own. AI's computational power can navigate that complexity in ways we just can't. Okay, that makes sense. So, let's recap some of the key ways AI provides this cognitive support. You listed a few dimensions. First was working memory relief. We talked about the chat interface there. Right, that persistent conversation history is key. It just takes the load off, freeing up your mental energy for, actual thinking rather than just remembering. What else? Then there's that search heuristic amplification we just discussed, how interacting with AI sharpens our own intuition, even when the AI isn't perfectly right. Got it. And then this idea of a reflective dialogue loop. What's that about? This one's fascinating. The idea is that by regularly interacting with an AI, by explaining things to it, by getting feedback, we actually improve our own ability to think about our thinking. Oh, our metacognition. How does that work? It's almost like you internalize the process. You develop a kind of virtual chatbot in your head. You start anticipating questions, simulating the dialogue, so you get better at thinking through things yourself. Yeah, exactly. Even just the act of spitballing ideas with the AI, that back and forth brainstorming is incredibly valuable. It's like practice for your brain, practicing the thinking process. Okay, and transactive memory partnership. That highlights the collaborative nature. It's not just you dumping tasks onto the AI. You're forming a partnership with it. A partnership? Yeah. You bring your human judgment, your context, your intuition. The AI brings this massive data processing, its pattern recognition. You work together. It's a synergy. Combining strengths makes sense. Then the last one was idea generation. Right. Sometimes starting from a blank slate is the hardest part, Coming up with totally new ideas. Absolutely. DI is often really good at just generating options, lots of them, different angles, different possibilities. This makes the human job, the executive function part of choosing, refining, synthesizing much easier, so it gives you the raw material to work with, pretty much. Especially helpful if you're feeling mentally tired or just stuck, it gets the ball rolling. Okay, so AI is an active partner in thinking, which really brings us back to why those standard benchmarks might be falling short for this kind of use case. Exactly, they just don't capture this dynamic. Why are they so inadequate here? Well, for one, most benchmarks test the AI alone on a single static task. They don't look at the back and forth, the collaboration over time, how human insight guides the AI. Right, it's not an isolated test. No. And they often have what you might call time horizon blindness. They don't see how the AI's performance, its usefulness can actually improve through that ongoing conversation, through corrections and refinements. It learns as you interact. Potentially, yes. Plus, the tasks and benchmarks are often quite artificial. They don't reflect the messy, unique, complex problems people face in real life where this kind of cognitive support could be most needed. Like your chef analogy earlier, testing one chopped carrot instead of the whole meal. Exactly. You miss the context, the process. And critically, they fail to measure the complementarity. How well does the human and the AI work together? It's like judging a wrench just by its metal, not by how well it fits your hand and helps you turn a bolt. Okay, so the standard tests aren't cutting it. What are the actual practical AI mechanisms that are providing this support? What features are making a difference? Okay, several key things. We've mentioned the persistent chat interface multiple times. That's absolutely foundational for offloading memory and keeping context. Got it. Then there's retrieval augmented generation, or RAGI. This is huge. It lets the AI search beyond just the immediate conversation. Search where? Across past chats, documents you've uploaded, potentially your whole digital history, and of course the internet. It vastly expands the AI's memory. Some systems even have different layers of memory, short-term, long-term. Wow, okay. So it can pull in relevant info from all over, precisely. Then there's Python integration. This allows the AI to actually do things like run code, perform calculations, make charts right there in the chat. Takes the load off you having to do it separately. Exactly. Reduces cognitive load. And you can imagine this expanding, maybe integrating with tools like 3D modeling software like Blender or other specialized tools in the future. Interesting. What else? Well, basic internet search is almost a form of RAG, isn't it? But supercharged. The AI can scan and synthesize information from the web way faster than any human could read. cuts down research time dramatically. Dramatically. And finally, just the AI's core abilities in pattern recognition and pattern generation, these make it a valuable partner for spotting trends, brainstorming ideas, structuring thoughts, a whole range of tasks. So it's this combination, memory, retrieval, doing tasks, finding patterns that all comes together. That's right. It creates this powerful assistant that can remember for you, find information for you, process things with you, and ultimately help you think more effectively. Okay, let's try and wrap this up then. If you had to distill the main message from this deep dive on AI for cognitive offloading, especially for those facing challenges, what would it be? I think the core insight is that AI has really significant, potentially transformative potential here, especially for people dealing with cognitive decline, aging, absent-mindedness, Alzheimer's. It goes way beyond just getting quick answers. Way beyond. It's about support through interaction, helping with brainstorming, problem-solving, relieving memory load, maybe even sharpening our own thinking skills over time. So amplifying cognition through collaboration. And what's a final thought for our listeners to chew on? Maybe think about this. As these AI interfaces keep getting better, focusing on that persistent memory, integrating more seamlessly with all the other tools we use, how could that truly revolutionize cognitive assistance? Consider specific tasks or challenges, maybe in your own life or for someone you know. Where could that kind of intelligent supportive AI really make a difference, really empower people, especially as the world keeps getting more complex?